Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm spiritual medium Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. Wow. And today is July 14th, 2022. What energies await us this week? So let's say hi to everybody first. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Kellee and Prajna. Yes, we have Prajna Avalon on tonight. It's going to be so great. Oh my God. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Barbara Tarbutton. She says Thursdays are the best days because of your broadcast. Oh, I look so forward to it all week. Thanks, honey. I so appreciate that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Hi, Deb McGee. She says blessings and light. Can I tell you what your card is? Yes, you're October 30th. You are a 5 of hearts. So I can't tell you what's in store, but I can say this. 5 of hearts comes in for a lot of emotional adventures. How's that? How's that for a one-liner there? Hi, Stacy. Hi, Lee. And before I forget, I want to give a big shout out to friends of ours in Kauai, and that's Gay and Dan Wallen. So he is an incredible engineer, and she's an incredible soul. So welcome to the program tonight, all the way from Kauai. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Lori Counts. I hope you had a good day, honey. I was thinking about you. Hi, Patty Campbell. Hi, Julie West. I like the pretty color. Okay, this is like one of my favorite colors. This and turquoise are like both my favorites. Oh my gosh. Hi, Sherry Dahl from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. Wow. Hi, Karen from the UK. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Lori. Oh, hi, everybody. Okay, my favorite is Erlinda Cortez from Long Beach. I love Long Beach. I love Long Beach, California. Seriously love it. So I'm so welcome. So glad you're here. I really miss Long Beach. I just love that area. It's such a cool area. Now I'll be thinking about Long Beach. Oh, hi, Allison. It has been a better week for me, and I really appreciate you saying that. It has. And in fact, somebody asked a great question about what to do with that kind of a trauma. I had a huge trauma. It'll be 2 weeks this Saturday, where a person passed away in front of me. And it was really pretty awful, actually. But I've worked myself through the trauma, so I know it can be done. So anyway, hi, Lizette. Hi. And she says hi to everybody, including you, Renee and Prajna. Hi, everybody. Tracy says, hi, lovely Kellee. Not that I want to be an energy vampire, but boy, is it great to see you and Prajna. It is. It really is. It's going to be so much fun to have her on tonight. Hi, Steve. Hi, everybody. So I could keep going, but I think what I want to do is I want to go into some astrology before we have Prajna on. So I want to talk to you about this week. First of all, did you guys see that moon last night? I mean, I posted and posted and posted over it because I did a whole bunch of videos on crystals and how to wash your crystals and how to put the crystals out. And then I did a whole moon glow theme on, if you haven't seen it, check it out on, I think it's on TikTok and on Reels. And I think I put it on Facebook too. But that energy was some powerful energy. It knocked out a lot of people, actually. The energy was so intense. But it was a special moon. I can tell you that. It was a special one. But we have a lot of other special energy that's coming up. And I really want to talk about this the next couple of weeks because this period that we're in is going to be getting more intense by the day. And as a matter of fact, when we start at about, let's start with this. On July 15th, so today is the 14th, right? Oh, so tomorrow, July 15th, that makes it easy. Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So Chiron goes retrograde and it's in Aries. So Aries is about yourself. It's about me. What about me? It's all about me. That's what Aries is. But in Chiron, Aries represents, especially when it goes retrograde, taking care of yourself. So and this lasts until the end of December, this Chiron retrograde. And it has to do with emotional issues. So Chiron actually has a higher purpose. It's not just making you like wade through your trauma. It really has a higher purpose that it brings in ultimately a lot of healing for everybody. And in fact, it will bring in a lot of help from the other side that you may not have known that you even had. So Chiron retrograde, which begins tomorrow, well, I think we'll all go through some deep healings here. I do. So the other, there's so many issues. There's so many issues coming up. It's like nearly every day for the next, like next month. But anyway, from July 18th into the 20th, so July 18th, 19th, and 20th, we have a real big energy situation. It's Mercury and the Sun, and they oppose Pluto. And this is where Pluto oppositions are really intense because they bring up our immediate attention, like things that have been like bottled up. And so something that's been bottled up kind of like screams for release. And so I feel that on those days, 18, 19, and 20, tempers can really get out of control there. So you really want to watch your tempers if you can. You know, sometimes things that have been bottled up need to come out. So, you know, and I've seen it in my own self. So that it's something just to know, to pay attention to, the 18th and 19th and 20th of July. But what I'm talking about is what we begin on July 16th. So that's on Saturday. So on Saturday, this energy starts to build. And this energy I'm going to talk about in a moment, but it starts to build till we get till about July 31st to August 1st. And what astrologers are calling this is the biggest event, astrological event of the year. It's very, very intense. And so you'll see the energy start to change from about the 16th. Every day it gets a little more intense until it builds up to this piece that comes at about July 31st to August 1st, about that period of time. And what this is Mars, Rahu, and Uranus all conjunct. And they squares Saturn. So let me explain that in English. Mars is the planet of war, and it also is a planet of courage. And Uranus is what we call the planet that's the great awakener, and it's brings sudden changes, and it brings shocks also. And so they're all together, be Mars, Uranus, and then Rahu. So you're saying, what is Rahu? And I'm talking about Vedic astrology here. In Vedic astrology, Rahu is the north node of the moon, and it's associated with spiritual awakening, spiritual evolution. It's regarded in astrology similar to Saturn. And, you know, Saturn is a karmic thing. It's brings us our lessons. Okay. So this period of time that I'm talking about really is intense, and it can bring some explosive events. It's a very intense time. So the energy starts about July 16th, and then it just continues to build and build and build. Okay. And then I want everybody to keep in mind, as I say that this is a time about growing. It will, for our souls to grow, and the universe has lessons for all of us. So you can imagine that it's an incredible time to be on this planet. I'm not going to suggest that it's an easy time. It's not. And I'm sure that you're all saying, when I was on the other side, what was I thinking about being here? But my thought of that is that when you eventually get to the other side, after it's your turn to be on the other side, and you'll probably be like, whew, souls will come up to you and they'll say, what was it like during 2020? What was it like in 2022? What was it like in 2025? And you'll be able to say, yeah, I was there. You know, this is what happened. Oh my gosh. I mean, so this is the kind of energy that I have that is being presented here. Okay. So anyway, as we get closer, we'll talk more and more about it. But I just wanted everybody to have an idea of the energy. So if you have the questions of what's going on with this energy, you can re-listen, and there you go. Anyway, so now everybody, I want to introduce my dear, dear friend, Prajna Avalon, the greatest healer ever. Come on, Prajna, welcome to the show. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi
So
there.
good to be here again.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Oh my gosh, and you're in Brazil. So I should say up front that if there's if you kind of go in and out, it's because I know you're having some internet issues in
I'm
where you
having
are.
a little bit, yeah, very unexpected, but so everybody just bear with me here because I'm here. Even if I freeze, I'm still here.
Have you noticed that the energy has been kind of intense?
I've been actually surprised. I'm usually not one to get very affected by these things. Usually people are, oh, Mercury retrograde and blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, do going about my path, and it has not been the case
I
this
know.
time lately.
I
I'm really
know.
feeling it, and I'm really feeling it, and I mean, I think you and I talked about this. I kept feeling last year that 2022 was going to be harder than 2020 and then 2021. I kept feeling that 2022 was going to be the most challenging year. And it has not disappointed in that prediction so far.
I hear you. I said to James, oh, we're going to be like 2020? What?
What? It's like, well, that was like a
Like,
vacation.
what?
I
We got to
was
stay
like,
home. I mean, what's
all
the
we
big
did was
deal?
stay home and eat bread.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's a
gosh.
bit intense,
Oh,
and
I
I
did.
noticed that for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. It just is. So Marge Webb asked a great question. She says, didn't you love those pictures from NASA? I did. Did you happen to see them, Prajna? They were,
No, I
oh,
haven't
you
seen
didn't?
them.
Oh my God, there's this, how do I even describe it? This new way of with this telescope, like the most high powered ever. And it shows the like the beginning of stars. It's just phenomenal. Oh, it's phenomenal.
Oh,
Now
I would
that would
love
be a
that.
Uranus thing. That was about Uranus is about the new activity, new something new that would have been invented. Because I think that's incredible. I just think that
Yeah,
is an
the
incredible thing.
Iran Mars and Rahu combo there was a bit unnerving.
Yeah. It is a bit unnerving. I would agree totally. Well, I have a lot of great questions. And so first, before we even get into the questions, because I have so many, let's talk briefly about our upcoming part 2 event, which we have part 2 coming up of Lemuria and Atlantis, everybody. And if you didn't join us for part 1, you can still not too late to actually, you can buy part 1 and listen to it. It was phenomenal. And then we have part 2 coming up, which will be on July 23rd. So if you're interested in joining us, it's going to be a new, not only a new adventure, but new energy, right? Prajna, we were talking about that, the energy that'll be coming through.
Yeah, we'll be diving deeper into what really was there, who we really were there, and what we really experienced during those times. So part one was kind of like starting to dive into what it was and what happened. And part two is going to be really embodying a lot more of that energy with the gifts that were there, the energy. So we're really, I feel that this is going to be cathartic. I seriously, because part one was way more intense and powerful than I think we ever imagined, right?
Oh, it was
That it would be.
amazing. Yes, it
And
was.
the feedback from people is just unbelievable. I mean, people have been breakthroughs in life, connecting parts of themselves they had never connected with before. I mean, it's been incredible. And I feel like part two is going to be an explosion of interconnection. It's going to be, I am really looking forward to it.
I am too. I can't wait. It's going to be so interesting, and you guys will learn so much,
Yeah.
and you'll feel the depth of everything, and you'll really have memories of living during those times, which are really important because as we go forward,
Yeah.
the wisdom that comes from Lemuria and Atlantis
Yeah.
is really what we need to go forward in how life is now.
Absolutely. And the healing, the wisdom, the healing, the interconnection that they had and that we have within ourselves will be awakening because we really need it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no mistake. It's not by chance that the energies are the way they are. There is a deep uprooting of all things that have been blinded or blind to us that is happening, and it's a time for the light to come up. So it's so important, all this work, to do this kind of work. It's really paramount, really, for our lives and for the world.
And for the world, I agree.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when you embody a lifetime, you really want to do what you've come to do. You really want to remember what you can and then live fully in the present moment that you're given.
Yeah.
So by the time you get back on the other side, you will take back all the goodies that you would have learned from this lifetime, all the goodies, all the wisdom that you would have learned when you go back. And then you go back on the other side and you're like, I did it. I totally did it. I did what I said I was going to do.
Gosh. Yes,
Right?
I hope I have that. Really, really, really hope I have that. I hope I have
I think
that.
that's why I work as hard as I do. I'm not kidding
Oh
you.
gosh, for
That's
sure.
my goal. It's like I want to get over there and go, wow, I did it.
Yes,
I didn't miss anything.
Because it's not like you can come back and redo it. It's not like, we
Right.
can go back now here and redo things, but once you die, once this life ends, it's over. You can't come back and redo it. So, and I heard a channeling once that this medium said that most people don't finish all of what they came to do because they get distracted with the planet, with life, with everything that's here. It's a planet that holds a lot of distractions on all levels.
Every level. I was thinking about that yesterday. It's interesting that you would say that. I actually said to myself yesterday, if I could go back and do a do-over, I wouldn't have spent so much time either, I don't know, in different realities. I wish I had started where I really wish I would have started here. I mean, I think people waste so much time smoking pot, carrying on, doing all kinds of things that are so unproductive.
Exactly. It's unproductive. I mean, not that sometimes we need some downtime and we need to relax.
I totally get that.
It should be a very small percentage of our lives, and for most people, it's the biggest percentage. And the spiritual work, the inner work is the smallest percentage, like once a week or once a month.
So true. Oh, this is a great question. So this is from Carlene Reese. She says, are there certain telltale signs to know if you've lived a past life in Atlantis or Lemuria? Yes.
There's a lot of this is a lot of what we talked about in our first gathering. I think I've decided to call it our first gathering because it's like a re-encounter, and there are many different aspects of Lemuria and Atlantis that you can identify. One thing that is common for both, Kellee, that we talked about are crystals, right? Like we talked a lot about this. So if you're crystals, if you
crystals are huge.
You know the power of crystals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
crystals are huge, and we're actually going to do a summary when we begin part 2. We'll do a brief summary for anybody that missed part 1 or just wanted to do a little refresher. We'll do that. But another thing to look for, Carlene, is water. How do you feel about water? Do you feel like do you love the islands? Do you love that energy? Some people might say no, I really don't. But there's something about that energy that kind of pulls you in.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really right there. And the knowledge and the thing about the good thing about this webinars is that the knowledge, but then the feeling. Like I think what happened for a lot of people there, people suddenly felt it in themselves, in their bodies, that they were there. They had been there.
Yeah, you could feel it in
had
yourselves.
journeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had
absolutely.
You can feel it, and we had a journey to go back there. So it's very complex. So I still want to leave the invitation here. If anybody's feeling called to this, join us. Join us for the second time. And if you won't have missed the first time because you can get a link for the first time. You should join us. For all of them. It's been really truly a wonderful experience. Better than I ever thought it would be.
Me too. It's really quite incredible. Renee Hounsel asks a great question. Hi, Renee. She says, if there were indigo children as well as star seeds in Lemuria and Atlantis, are they similar star seeds in indigo? So let me explain what that means, Renee. Or let me explain to everybody. Because if I go back, so first there were Lemurians, and then later, first there are star seeds, then there are Lemurians, and then indigos come from that. So it's all the same, Renee. It's all the same. I hope that that answers the question. And then I could even go right brain people and then attention deficit disorder. I mean, it kind of just goes down the path there. But ultimately, they're all star seeds. I hope that answers the question here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Lori Count says, Kelly, can you speak on the 5 steps? And what I talked about, and I can talk about that briefly right now, it's called soul awakening. So when Prasha and I started this, we started off with where is everybody? I kind of wanted to know where everybody was on their awareness level. And I thought, and here's something that, like, where are you in the spiritual awakening process, basically? And the first one would be, are you here at the awakening of the mind? And here's what that means. Did you have like some sort of epiphany or some sort of sudden realization that kind of gives you a more enlightened process, maybe, or perspective? So that would be like the first thing, where you have some sort of like a aha, like an Oprah aha moment, like, oh, something is more, you feel a little more enlightened about something. The second thing is called an awakening of a new personality. And that's where you move past like these old limiting beliefs and these toxic patterns in relationships. And that's where people will say, boy, have you changed? So you'll that's another state of awakening. Boy, have you changed? Yeah, I have. Goodbye. You're out of my life. I don't need this anymore. The third one is called an awakening of spiritual energy, and that's like a Kundalini awakening. And there are a lot of people that have that, where you start to feel your life force kind of coming back alive, and it can go up and then it can go down again. But you might even feel negative thoughts. You might feel like some physical sickness, but it's an awakening. It's a spiritual awakening. And the fourth way is what we call the awakening of the soul. And that's where you begin to experience yourself as like limitless or eternal, and there's unconditional love and forgiveness. And that's an amazing way. And then the fifth way, and Prajna, I'd like you to speak about this, they call it total awakening or total enlightenment. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So that's like a whole other level of when you know that you're one with everything. And I truly mean that. You feel like everyone is a part of you and you're a part of everything. It's something that I really, not being pessimistic or anything, but I think, most of us won't get to.
That's like Buddha, isn't it? Or Jesus, or
it's like Buddha or Jesus or a guru or a master. It's like when you're in complete inner peace, you're in unconditional love all the time. I mean, literally all the time. Your wisdom, you can access your wisdom on all levels. I mean, you basically don't have any distorted experiences or feelings within you anymore. I mean, that's the state of true peace. And it doesn't mean that you end there. There are many different levels of enlightenment, still, but it's truly what we should be striving for. It is when there's no selfishness anymore. There's togetherness. There's another's pain is your pain, literally, because they're a part of you. So it's even hard, I think, for any of us to comprehend, because it doesn't. To me, I'm even like, okay, what does it mean? They're a part of me. Like, what does it mean? Am I not gonna know who I am anymore? It's like, like, what does that mean? It's a level of total peace. I mean, I feel like the guru in India I used to live with and that I've been following is on a state like that. So I've been in the presence of somebody like that, and it's truly something that is very hard to explain and even understand. Right. But it's supreme. It's supreme.
And that's really our goal, our soul's goal,
Yes.
And it could take the time that it takes, actually, whatever it takes.
It takes the time that it takes. I mean, the story says that Buddha reached enlightenment. He sat underneath a tree and he started meditating and he reached enlightenment right there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I do believe, I'm a healer, right? I work with healing. I believe anything is possible. So please, nobody, stop anything by my limiting beliefs that it can't happen, but
right.
But it is something to strive for. Like, why wouldn't we want to feel unconditional love and peace and happiness and compassion for all beings and inner balance all the time? Who wouldn't want that? cannot wait for the time to get there.
Me too. So here's a question from Karen Abercrombie. She says, do we bring through illnesses from past lives into this life? She said, I used to dream when I was a child that I was in the army and I got shot in the back. And this life, I have actual disc problems where I dreamt that I got shot. So do we bring through illnesses from past lives?
For sure. So illnesses, experiences, everything stays in the energy field. So if you got shot in a past life, unless you worked through that and healed that, that will carry with you in your energy field onto another lifetime. I mean, I've worked with people that had been burned in another life. In this lifetime, they have rashes, they have skin problems, they have, they have patches on their skin. I mean, there are people. I mean, there are all sorts of stories.
What about when people have birthmarks?
Birthmarks. I mean, I'm always. It's hard for me, to generalize. So we can't generalize anything, but it could mean that something very significant happened in that area, and that the field couldn't replenish or restructure itself completely, so it couldn't form completely in this life. I mean, it's a lot of the reasons why. We come with all sorts of deformities or health issues or everything has a reason.
Everything has a reason.
Everything has a root.
This is interesting because then this is Steve Kanicki's question. So thanks for this, Steve. He said, can all trauma or all illness be healed? Or does it stand to reason that if we incarnated into this world to learn lessons of kindness, compassion, patience, or whatever, that we must live with these calamities for a lifetime to fully embody the lesson? For example, he says Stephen Hawking was stricken with an awful disease which left him wheelchair bound and unable to speak. And yet his physical limitations allowed his mind to expand in ways we can't even imagine. His contributions to physics are felt to this day and will last long into the future. So Mr. Hawking's gift to humankind was in part due to his physical trauma that he carried most of his adult life.
Mm-hmm.
What say you?
Well, that's why it's hard to generalize, because a lot of the things are karmic that we're living. Some other times we embody things because we want to learn from it, and we will carry that throughout our lifetimes. We really, truly want to learn from it. Some other times there are things that we did towards others that we're now having to live karmically to learn. And some other times we see something. And this lifetime, so we have to learn how to use it with purpose. There are many different scenarios. I mean, I don't know the reason why, Stephen Hawking came with what he came, but there are a lot of really brilliant minds that needed a little bit of limitation, either to teach us a lesson, or they needed limitation so that they would be very focused. I mean,
that's what I was thinking more. And I was also thinking that there's no doubt he was a starseed. He's not he's from a galaxy far, 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 far away.
Yes.
And I don't think that many of them have had bodies, maybe.
Exactly. And there's that.
It's complicated, but there's
very complicated. There's so many. That's why healing is always, you got to look at each person, because one person's, I don't know, health issue is different, the same than the other. It's also different. Yeah. And some people, whatever they're bringing in doesn't fit into this physical body. So it kind of morphs into what it can, and then it can't completely, and then you live like that. It's all very complex. So that's why we got to look at each individual. Every time we're going to look at each individual. We've been alive for hundreds of lifetimes, different than anybody else's. So we're very complex, not in the sense that of being a negative complexity, just complex in the sense of there's a lot there.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a good question, and this is from Patricia Aldana. She says, is it through reincarnation that souls surpass the karmic effects? I mean, you hope so. You hope that.
Yes, absolutely. It's why we keep reincarnating. You grow when you're in spirit, but you don't grow nearly enough as when you're here. And if things happen here, you gotta kind of heal them here. So reincarnation is a gift from the universe. so that we have chances again and again and again to better ourselves and do better. And the karmic law is very strict, not in a negative way,
Yep.
but it happens. I mean, it's the cause and effect. We do
Right.
something, it either comes back now or later.
Right.
So not as punishment, but just because of justice, really, fairness.
Well, it's really interesting that you said that, because when some charts that I do for people, I'll look and I'll say, oh, you have really fast karma, so you cannot afford to screw up or fool around or do an untruth or whatever, because you'll get whacked right away. And I believe it's because the soul, before they incarnated, said, look, if I veer off my path, let me have it right away. Don't you think? That way they'll know,
totally.
Like, wait, I don't want to waste any time here. I just want to,
Yes.
I want to take it what I need to do.
Yes, that's so interesting that you see that in the charts. It does
Yeah.
show that everything is in there.
Everything is in a chart. Everything is in a chart.
You can even see what somebody has done in the past and why they're here.
100%.
And if they've done good in the past or if they haven't done good, what they need to do this lifetime. I mean, it's there. It's written.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. Sherry Abdu. Hi, Kellee and Prajna. In the first stage of awakening, do we begin to feel a building of energy in our body? At random moments, I feel sensations of energy in my body, in particular my legs or back of my head. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. I think that's probably you're in the second stage of awakening, second and even the third, Sherry, because the first stage is, you start to think a little differently. You start to think, oh, maybe there is such thing as life after death. Oh, what if I just had a dream about my father who passed away? You start to have some sort of opening, some sort of, you're not such a blockhead anymore. You start to, I don't know what else to call it, like a lunkhead. You start to wake up, and but what you're talking about is like second and third stage of awakening, where you start to feel the energy in your body. And yoga is great for that too, because yoga puts us in different positions to feel our life force, our vital life force. So you're starting to feel that. That's a great place, Sherry. Good for you.
Yeah.
I had another. Here's a question from Renee Hansel. She says, Prajna, when you recognized that you were given gifts in Atlantis, how did you integrate it into your healing? Did it broaden your modalities?
Yeah. So for me, I've always, I'm very big on the surrendering piece. So I've never really stayed with, oh, this is this, and I'm going to now integrate it. I've always allowed who I am to keep unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. That's just how I've always been. So I didn't do anything to integrate into my modalities, but I noticed that when I'm awakening different parts of myself, there's a jump in my healing work. And things
Isn't that
naturally
interesting?
change.
Yeah.
Yes.
You notice that too. I noticed that with my mediumship. It just starts to, it'll expand. All of a sudden, it'll expand. It's the wildest thing.
Yes.
And I know with healing, it would do the same thing.
It does the same. And I've actually had clients that I've seen for, years, 10, 15 years. They've throughout said, what have you done? Because your healings are feeling different. And
wow. So they can tell the difference.
They can tell the difference.
Yeah. So they've grown with you.
Yes, exactly. We've grown together. We've gone through stages together. I mean, you're always connected with the person that you need to be connected with.
Absolutely.
At any given time. So it's so beautiful. It's part of what I really love about this healing journey. It's the togetherness, of the long-term clients. I love these, this type of work, because you see so much transformation in a different way.
So true. And that's so amazing for your heart, right? To see it.
Oh,
I love to see people heal and to be able to move on with their life and to do what they've come to do. Nothing gives me more pleasure to see that have that experience. It's just amazing to me.
It's amazing.
So Wendy Wallach has a question. Hi, Wendy. She says, are autistic ADD people commonly indigo, etc.? Yes. So to me, the souls on the spectrum are from other galaxies. They're not from around here. They're what I call star seeds. And the star seeds come when they're here, depending on how functioning they are, how high functioning they are. Sometimes they're ADD, sometimes they're attention deficit hyperactivity with H disorder. Then I go from there, I call them right brain people because they're more creative, and then from there I call them indigos, because the indigos were a certain group of star seeds that come in. And then further, I go into, and that they all fall on the spectrum somewhere. So yeah, they're not from around here. I hope that was a good way to answer the question. But commonly, they're not from around here. You know, they come to bring enlightenment to the planet. They wanted to be here. They wanted to teach us a lot of things: love, creativity, new age things, all kinds of things that they're bringing to the table here. Like things that we would just be, this planet would just be lost without that energy. Don't you think? I think they're really special.
Yeah, it's
Really
true.
special souls.
There's an energy of purity and innocence in a lot of them that is really
Yeah.
needed. It's very necessary.
Couldn't agree more. So this is for you, Prajna. Gina Marie. Hi,
Yeah.
Gina. She says, Prajna, I had a session with you last year, and I am healed now, sleeping wonderfully through the night. Thank you. Your session was beautiful and
Oh,
so enlightening.
oh, mwah. See, that just makes my
Great.
day, and it just, Gina, thank you for sharing that. That's
Is
wow.
that
I have no
great?
words. No words.
Right.
That's the best feeling.
That's the best healing. Okay. So here's a question. So Mary Clinton says, so Mary, she says, when something feels so deeply stuck, like a long-term unhealthy pattern, it seems that awareness isn't enough actually to permanently heal it. So what's the next step with affirmation and alternative modalities of healing that we don't seem to be working? Mary, when energy gets stuck, I am a huge believer in somatic therapy, and that's the trauma that's been stuck in the body. I mean, you use the buzzword stuck. Things
Yeah.
that we may not even know from our consciousness, but that's in an unconscious place or even in a subconscious place where it's located, the pain of whatever the traumas were. I would say go to traumahealing.org, and you can have some, there are some great therapists there, traumahealing.org. And I know you work with somatic people, like Shirley, Dr. Shirley,
Yeah,
who does
I
a
mean,
lot of
somatic
somatic work.
experiencing brings the, I agree, awareness is not enough
It's
for
not enough.
healing.
It's not enough at
It's a
all.
first step. It's a
Yeah.
first step of realizing something's wrong here, something's not right, something's distorted or dysfunctioning. And then you have to go deeper. Moving the body, ultimately, you gotta move this energy. Somatic experiencing is a huge, it's
Huge.
huge in this.
It's
Um,
huge.
and it works together with the awareness, and I would say affirmations are good, intention is good, energy healing work is good because you're directly working with moving the energy. I mean, I'm a big fan of all. Like for me, like when I have something in my life, I go for the awareness, I go for the somatic, I go for the healing work.
You do it
Like
all. I know. I've seen you do it.
right? Yeah, I do. Like I'm like fully committed. I see a piece and I'm like, I want to heal this, and I go for it with surrender, not with will, but with like I'm not going to waste time. So the energy has to move because trauma, patterns, belief systems, they're literally blocks of energy stuck in the body. So you got to find somehow to move it.
Right. That was very, very good. Thank you for that. Carlene Reese says, I've heard a lot about indigo and star seeds. I feel like I resonate 100% with the blue ray. I've heard blue rays are from the stars. Are they also star seeds? I'd love for you to do a show on this. Well, Carlene, you're in luck because in October, I'm going to be teaching a class on star seeds, and I'll talk about the blue rays. I'll talk about all of that. I don't have the date yet. I'm actually working on the date now, but it's in October. Okay, so thank you for that. So I will definitely be doing that. So I have some other questions here. Okay, here's a good one. So Sherry Kraft says, can pain be asserted with a place? I went on holiday for a week and the pain was gone. I was able to get up and down the stairs like they were nothing. I was limber. I got back home and 3 hours later I was in pain again. Sorry, I'm not
Yes.
laughing at the situation. It's what have you?
I mean, it's like I said, everything is connected, right? Like, so if you have been in this place in a previous life and it was a very traumatic place for you, being there in this lifetime will not bring you pleasant sensations. Or in this lifetime, I mean, places carry energy. I mean, my worst trip of my life was through France, beautiful France. And I swear to God, I don't think I ever want to go back there again.
I didn't know that. You never told me that. That's
my
amazing.
gosh, it was. And I knew it was past life related. And
Oh,
I did a lot of work there. And there was a lot of suffering for me in France in a past life. In Egypt. This most
okay, so I had the
gorgeous.
same thing about Egypt. I had the
Did you?
same
I was like,
thing.
my God, I'm like in this amazing, most beautiful, dream-like place, and I cannot wait to get away from Sky because it was just, and it all has to do with past experiences. So, what is the lesson? What healing, needs to be done from that? I mean, for me, in both those trips, I did as much healing as I could, and then I left, and I wanted
Never
to
to
complete
return.
that. And never to return.
That was it.
And that was it. But pain, any physical sensation is always a call for healing. Nothing is here to punish us. So if it's showing up in our physical body, is because in our minds, in our awareness, we're not getting it. We're
Right.
not getting it. So it has to show us somehow in a way that we notice. That one way that we notice is pain.
Right.
Is suffering. We notice suffering. We stop. So a lot of healing, a lot of cries for help from our souls come through suffering, come through pain, come through illnesses. So just take a look at the place where you feel this pain and what's in there. Dig a little deeper there to see what healing is wanting to happen.
Okay, from Vilma Niager. She says, hello, Prajna and Kellee. I have very low iron levels due to multiple blood vessels bleeding in my stomach. During a gastroscopy, I don't think I'm going to say that right.
Gastroscopy.
The ends of the blood vessels were burnt to stop the bleeding. Then the bleeding starts again. I am worried as there is clusters of vessels are bleeding. Please guide me. I had this process 3 times already. I don't know anything about this. Prajna, is that something that you can speak on, or?
I mean, this would need to be a private session to really be looked at much deeper on why this is happening. There's something energetically, there's something happening around those chakras and that part of your body that is really not healing in this lifetime. Right. So what happened before that was so damaging in another lifetime that is still open, like there are still open wounds that literally will not heal. So this feels to me like very deep work that needs to be done to really heal what happened there before, so that the healing can come to this physical body.
Right. Oh, that's very good. Okay, so this is from Tina Coling Regina, and she says, please tell me if I'm just imagining, but 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks every day, for 2 weeks every day, I was hearing knocking noises, lights would flicker, birds would fly into the windows, and a couple of days this went on, she said, and then her son was murdered, and then she found a tennis ball in the middle of the room, and she said, are these signs telling me something bad was going to happen? And I've had energies like that where all of a sudden, like for weeks in a row, I'll see kind of something similar to that. I think that we get warnings.
Yeah,
I do. I think we get warnings of different things. Could we absolutely have prevented something? Probably not, because there things that are going to happen are going to happen. But I mean, pay attention when all of that happens. I don't think you're crazy whatsoever at all, because that's kind of how that happens. And this was a question that I appreciated, and it was somebody had asked. They had said that because I had gone through some trauma, and they wanted to know how to help others with trauma. So and the question was, in light of what recently happened to Kellee at the restaurant when I was there, when a man choked and passed away, how do you help somebody after a big trauma? So this is a really good question, because she said, is there a specific technique? Yes, I did talk to my husband, tried to help me, and James tried to help me. But for practical things, when there's been a trauma, the vital life force kind of goes out of your body for a period. I mean, not all of it, but something happens here, and you want to establish lines of communication with the person. Like in my case, I needed to talk about it. I needed to get outside. I needed to ground myself in nature. I needed space, like days actually. I slept more than usual. I needed to, then later I got to a point. So here's the practical thing that you can do is help the person by talking to them about it. And really, it's called active listening. It's like you're really listening to the person that's telling the story. And for me, in a trauma event, I really did need to tell the story because I was replaying the story in my mind so many times that I really needed to tell it. I mean, I've told it a few times, and that really helps. So being an active listener for somebody would really be help, and talk about the trauma of it with that person. So do you have any suggestions either? Because it's hard to watch somebody who's gone through trauma and their vital life force gets kind of low.
Yes, I was going to say exactly this. I was going to say presence. Be present with them and allow them to processing however they need. It's the most healing way. It's not a time to really be telling them to do things. It's not, because
No.
each person processes them differently, processes things differently. It's extremely important. I went through a similar experience when I was 21. I was working as an interpreter at a hospital. It was my first week working, and I went to interpret in the unit, and I walked through. The man was dying, and they had the paddles, and they were shocking his body, and he was jumping up and down the bed, and he died right in front of me. I was 21, and I had just started working, and then I had to leave and go tell his wife and his sister that were outside that he just died. And this was unexpected. He wasn't meant to die. He wasn't there to die.
Oh, how traumatic.
It really threw me off. And the most important thing was my manager. She was a psychologist, and she sat with me and she listened. And I remember, like, I had this paper in my hand and I was like, tearing it to pieces. And she said, what are you doing with the paper? And she just presenced where I was. And I talked and I processed, kind of like what Kellee just said. So presence, just be with the person. Things need to move. Healing happens. We all get traumatized and wounded because we have not been taught how to process things that happen to us. So right now we can start breaking that pattern. So we go through something, we process. Somebody's going through something, let them process so the energy can move and the trauma clears and it doesn't have to stay in the body. It's the most important thing, most important gift.
So the trauma doesn't have to stay in the body.
Exactly. The trauma is there. It needs to move through.
Yeah.
The last thing we need to say to somebody is move on, go distract yourself.
How about this? Snap out of it.
Like, oh my gosh, or go do this or go do that. No. Feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it, but ground yourself and feel it so it can move out. And then you don't have to be doing, healing work 10 years from now to try to figure out why.
No, you're absolutely right. Right. Oh my God. Deal with it now, but be present for somebody. I mean, that's it. So Karen Bennett says, hi, Karen. She says, hi, Kellee and Prajna. I've undergone an incredible awakening and spirit connection after my husband passed a year ago. Incredible energy transformation. But over the last week, I've had to take a mid-AM nap every day. I literally can't keep my eyes open. I go into a very deep sleep. I don't remember dreams. My heart rate drops to 49/50. I sleep well at night. I'm not exhausted, and I'm in good health. Am I wrong to think this is spirit intervention of some sort?
I'm not sure what to say about spirit intervention or not, but I would say that there's a need there. I think I would just look into, okay, are you feeling good and happy and healthy and positive? And is it just that your body is going through something or is about to go through something energetically that you need more rest and you need to build things up? Or are you depleted? Are you a little bit more depressed? Are you actually in the other side of things and your body needs a little bit?
That's what I was wondering, because when you go through a great loss and it's been a year, maybe from that first year, you were in the process of, trying to figure out things. And then maybe you got to a point of like collapse.
Could be.
I mean, you may have been running so hard and fast and dealing with all of the new gifts that were coming in that it might, it's probably time for your body to rest.
Yeah, to rest and to look to see what do you need. I mean, if you're needing that much sleep and naps and your heart rate goes down, something is not right. So in one way or another. So it's either rest and really process what happened, or there's something coming, but something to be really looked at. So I would say just
Yeah.
feeling to what is there that you're needing.
Right. So here's a great question from Lee Starr. Hi, Kellee and Prajna. Do you have any suggestions for raising your vital life force after having COVID? Great question, Lee. Take it away, Prajna.
Yeah, so that raising our vital life force is the most important thing because COVID has very low vibrational energy, but it moves very fast. So I've never seen anything like this before.
I'm sorry, you
Other
broke
than
up just a
cancer.
second. So you said
Yeah,
it's slow, but then it goes fast. Is that what you
it
said?
has a very low vibrational energy, but it moves very fast. It's a very weird thing. It's like some types of cancer. Cancer has very low vibration, and some cancers are very fast moving. It's the only other thing that I've seen like this. So COVID is like that. So what you need to do is to reverse that. So you need to ground so things are not moving too fast, and you need to raise your life force to a higher vibration. So you need to raise your energy while being grounded. Keep healing through and after COVID. And suggestions for raising your vibration, it depends on what makes you happy. It's anything that's going to make you happy. Like for me, I go to the beach or I go to the lake. I have those things very near me, and it makes me really happy. Nature makes me really happy. For some people, it's music, right? For some people, it's reading. For some people, it's laughing. For some people, it's talking to friends. So anything that makes you raise your vibration but keeps you present. That combination.
And at the same time, doing eating healthy, eating holistically or
Oh gosh,
homeopathically, or
yes.
anything that's really nutritious.
Yes, I mean, truly, during this time of the pandemic and the virus, that's like everybody really should be doing that. Eating high vibrational food, eating live foods, eating nutritious food. I mean, that's the key. I try not to talk about this so much because people get defended or defensive against this, a lot of the times, but it's key. You can be meditating and laughing and raising our vibration. I can be going to the beach and spend 3 hours at the beach. If I come back home and I have, pizza and flour and animal products and beer and wine, well, it's not what was that good
It's going to bring
for.
that vital life force down. Yeah,
Exactly. So it is a
absolutely.
time for raising our vibration on all levels. And food, it goes literally inside of us. So either it's health or it's what food does. So it either raises our energy or it lowers our energy. So yeah, it's good that you brought it up, Kellee. It's very, very important. And we're living in a time where so much in the world is low energy. COVID, the flus are going around, the energy of the world has so much lower vibration. So in order for us to stay well, we got to raise this vibration on all levels. It's worth the effort, really, truly worth the effort.
Absolutely. Diliana, I don't think I'm saying you're right. I'm sorry. Garcia says, Kellee, can I please repeat the web address for trauma? Yes, it's traumahealing.org. Here you go, traumahealing.org. And you'll find some wonderful therapists on there. And you'll learn all about trauma that is somatically in the body. So it's really great. Everybody should learn that. I think that would be very, very important here. So, okay. And I had another question here that, let's see here. I want to go with this one. Frank Sullivan, I'm going to answer your question. He says, I feel lost with no purpose or value. I need directional help. What's in store with me? All I think about is death. Why? Because you're depressed. So talk about vital life force. So if he has no direction, I mean, what's the greatest way, Prajna, to get your mojo back, if you will, to pull yourself out of a depression? Traumahealing.org would probably help you tremendously. But what else would you do to get
you gotta move. You gotta get
move
out of the house. You gotta move your energy. Like in the energy field, if I were working with somebody like that, I would ground them. Their lower chakras are probably not very connected. There is probably not connection between the lower chakras and the upper chakras. The energy in the field is probably sluggish. It's gotta get moving, and it's very hard for depressed people to do that. I've worked with many people and they say, I cannot get out of the house. And I understand that. And that's when you need help. That's when you need outside help. So that's where like a healer comes in handy, because the healer can go in there and give you that boost that can then give you the energy to get out of the house. You got to move.
You work with that as a healer. You work with depression.
Yeah, very much. Very much. So it's all in the energy field. Depression is basically your energy field is not functioning. It's like a stream where there's too many leaves and branches and everything's clogged up and it's getting muddy and it's not flowing well, or a draining system that's clogged up. That's it. It's an energy field that's clogged up because of past trauma, because of the world today, because of past lives, because of belief systems, because of wounds. Or all of it. It's an overwhelming. It's
all of that.
Exactly. It's
amazing any of us get anywhere.
Well, that's why we got to be vigilant and do this work and eat well and move and go to nature.
That's true. Oh my God, I could listen to you talk all day long. But everybody, please join us on July 23rd. It's part 2. However, if you purchase all 3, we'll send you the link to part 1. If you just want to start with part 2, that's great too. We're going to be doing a little bit of a summary and then we're going to move on. And by the way, Prajna does an outstanding meditation. Yeah. It's outstanding. I mean, you'll be riveted. I'll just say that. You'll be riveted. And then we have part 3, I believe, is on September 10th. So please join us, everybody, because it's going to be something you don't want to miss. Really, it's phenomenal.
And talk about raising energies. I mean, it's a group of dozens and dozens and dozens of people that are there, and the energy together. It's really worth it. It's really transformed lives. We've both got testimonials that I was shocked how much it's helped transform people's lives. So come if you feel called, if you feel stuck, if you feel lost, if you want a direction, if you feel low energy, just join us.
Yeah, please join us, especially if you're feeling stuck, actually, because it does transport you on some level. It does,
Yes.
Oh, really and does. I want everybody who joins us, bring a special, either a special crystal that you wear or a bracelet. We were talking about that because I know a lot of energy will be infused into the jewelry or the crystal. I'll have all my crystals around.
Yeah, but we're going to infuse special jewelry so that then each person can carry them along with them to anywhere, anytime you need the most. So it's going to be very special. There is a lot of really special energies that the guides are bringing to this, and I know we feel very honored to facilitate this, but it's really them bringing this all to all of us.
Oh my gosh. And I tell you, and when Prajna channels Atlantis, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
You gotta hold on to something to make sure you're still here, because you don't know where you are. I don't know where I am. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my God. It's gonna be great. And thanks everybody. And thank you, Prajna, for joining us today. I'm so glad that you were here with us. And thanks everybody. And we'll see you next Monday. And I'll see you next Thursday. Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.